over that optimum time.
I think he's
10
got
minutes
it.
and 2. We'll wait with interest. And now we've got Phillip Dutton coming forward on New Ride for him, Azure. This horse formerly campaigned by Irish International is a power. And Phillip's such an experienced rider. Used to ride for Australia, won Olympic golds in 1996 at Atlanta and in Sydney in 2000. And also won that individual bronze at the Rio Olympics when riding for Team America back in 2016. And he looks to have settled into a good rhythm around the middle stages of this course.
Yeah, I mean, Phillip needs no introduction. He's one of the best cross-country riders in the world, and you know, and he has been and still is, and you know, this is a very nice jumping horse as well, and you know, I mean, it'll probably be a cross-country lesson that we'll get to see here, hopefully.
So I've just got very excited. The scores have just popped up. Dan Kreitel, Carmango, 10 minutes, 7 seconds. So only the two-time penalties. So he finishes on a two-phase score of 31.2. So he goes in to first place on that two-phase leaderboard and cannot be beaten going into tomorrow's show jumping. So he will be the leader going into tomorrow's show jumping on 31.2.
Well, that's great. I'm so pleased for Dan. Like I said, he's such a nice guy, and he's a hard worker, and you know, he has, you know, like I said, he has a full-time business that he owns and runs, and you know, so to come out here amongst the professionals and be going in, you know, into the lead overnight is full credit around this year as a member of the ground jury at quite a few events, and she's out here as well, also doing it for herself.
So good to see.
Yeah.
And Phillip Dutton now coming back into view, running towards the water combinations on this course.
I mean, Phillip looks to be travelling really well, and as you know, as we often see, he has a great clock in his head, and he gets his horses, you know, just nicely running and positive. And we'll see him turning now into this big drop. Then this, like as you said previously, Ben, this has got, you know, close to a 6-foot drop on it.
And then you've got these offset angled rails taken on the two stripes. But you have to, as you saw from Phillip there, he's been quite positive to get to the second element.
Yeah, very positive. I mean, Phillip fills his horses up with confidence on the cross country. That, you know, they just, you know, even when you see him on young horses that might start out a bit green, you know, they start out green, and by the time they're getting to the end of the course, they've just improved in the 8-9 minutes that they've been out there, quite honestly.
And if you were waiting for an update on Hallie Coon Global X, you hadn't seen her out on course. She did in fact retire at fence 9B. That being the Apple Country Wedge after one refusal there. So Hallie Coon and Global X, they decided to retire after one refusal out on course. But we stay with Phillip Dutton and this lovely grey Azure, owned by Caroline Moran. Oh, it's a real question there, that combination up on the top of the hill there.
Yeah, you've got two narrows running down the hill there. It walks 5 strides, and you know, Phillip's horse just sort of a little bit bulged out the right shoulder there, but as
Lizzie said, puts a lot back into the sport, a ground jury member. It's so good to see her out here competing at the top level.
And that's a beautiful picture, isn't it, of a horse galloping there, you know, I mean.
It really is. I mean, Azure really looks to be jumping from fence to fence.
Yeah, I mean,
only 10 years old.
Only 10 years old, and you know, you watch him around here, and I mean, he looks like a proper 5-star horse in the making. The way he's making, you know, the way he's doing this, really.
And you'd definitely say this is a horse that Phillip's probably got one eye on those Olympic Games in 2024.
For sure, I think, you know, I mean, it's 10 years old, and you know, he's got what, 2 more years, and
nicely, he's 12 years old.
He's going to be 12 years old, and you know, that was the age of my horse when he won in Athens. I think it's a great age. They're usually, you know, they're still feeling very good within themselves, and but they've usually got the right level of experience by that point, and yet they're not too old.
No. But then we're talking about age of horse. I mean, Carmango leading the way, only 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be an exciting horse.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I think you know, I mean, Cosby's on our emerging rider, which is our under 25 program, and she's been on that program now for a couple of years, and she's had a good year this year, Cosby. She's had some good results there, and she's been really going well. And you know, as we all know, confidence is a great thing, and when you start to get a few wins under your belt, it just really helps that confidence. And Cosby's, as a result of that, has been riding really well this year.
So Phillip Dutton's going to be climbing the hill now. He can afford to be 4 seconds over the optimum time. He's got Liz Halliday Sharp sat in second, 34.6 at the moment. He's on 32.6. So if he's 5 seconds over the optimum time, that means he will finish on the same score as Liz, but he will be closer to that optimum time. So he would in fact go into second place, but he can't be 6 seconds over the optimum time, because then he will incur the 2.4 time penalties, so that will put him below Liz. So we'll wait with his time with interest. He does need to clear these fences as well, clear.
I think he's got a good chance of it, and you know, like we said, he's travelled very well, and you know, to be fair, this horse has really come up this hill very easily, and I would think Phillip will be very, very close to that. He has a little look as his watch there as he goes.
He looks pretty confident
there.
there.
Yeah, he looks pretty, you know.
Pretty relaxed. I mean, and what